Louisiana Beer Reviews, natural ice canned version. I've done natural ice and I revisited it both times out of the bottle, but I wanted to try the canned version. Okay, they've been making this beer since 1995. This and Busch Ice were introduced to sort of compete in the ice beer craze that's kind of still going on in a way. In 94, the previous year, Bud Ice came out, and in 93, that was your first major ice beer, Ice House from Plank Road Brewery, in other words, Miller. Okay, so natural ice is 5.9% alcohol. Some people consider it a malt liquor, some people don't. Doesn't really matter. A malt liquor is nothing more than an extra strong beer. So if you use the correct definition of malt liquor, extra strong beer, this is one. But then also Spaten is considered extra strong beer. Doesn't really matter. It is what it is, an extra strong lager beer. Thick white head, a clear straw appearance. A lot of streaming bubbles. You know, it's one of those beers that doesn't have cocoa nibs or coffee or lemons or natural lime flavor. It's just a beer made with traditional beer ingredients, American style lager ingredients. And that is, according to the Anheuser-Busch website, barley malt, corn, domestic and imported hops. It's, according to Anheuser-Busch, InBev, it's at the value category. It's a value price beer. It always has been. They described it as an American ice lager, which is what it is. Beer Advocate says it's poor. The Bros say poor. The Beer and Me says ordinary, which would be close to poor, like a C-. And Beer Advocate rate beer, is, you would expect, is 0 out of 100. And a 0 out of 100 for the style, so it gets double zeros. So in other words, according to Rate Beer, this is the worst beer that is available on planet Earth. Strange though, because you see it in most stores, and I see a lot of people buying it, and it's a very, very popular beer. They sell a lot of natural ice. Now they don't sell the bottle version around here anymore. I asked the Southern Eagle, the distributor guy at the store, I said, why you don't have bottles anymore? I used to buy the 12-ounce bottles. He said, for whatever reason, people were not buying the bottles, so they discontinued them in our area, and they only distribute the canned version, which, in the 12-ounce, 16-ounce cans, which is popular. Okay, the aroma, it's sweet. It's grain. You get the corn and the barley malt. It smells like beer, really. The flavor, sweet, same thing. Standardized beer flavor, you know, like extra strong beer is what it is. It's like, say, a Busch beer, but with more of a, you know, not more, but a bolder flavor, a heftier body, and more alcohol. And if you ever get a chance, try Busch Ice and compare it to this. They're almost identical. It could be the same beer, but I don't think they're quite the same. I believe they have slightly altered specifications as far as calories and grams of fat and all that, but they're essentially the same beer. Same alcohol content and all that. And they have the same roll. Value priced, extra strong beer. Natural ice is in our area. We don't get Busch Ice. We never have. Closest I could find Busch Ice would be Memphis, Tennessee. Okay. You know, you get your light and watery body, your underlying sweetness. You got that sweet aftertaste or undertaste, and the finish is crisp, clean, refreshing, and dry. I get into a lot of conflicts with Dave Coulter, who does beer reviews. He said the only reason people drink beers like this is because they're cheap, and they know the people know they're terrible, but they just want cheap alcohol infusion and get drunk. My counter argument is that how could millions of people buy a beer that they know is terrible, they hate the taste, and they're miserable drinking it, they just want to get drunk? I don't buy that argument. I've been buying the beer off and on since February 1996 when I started drinking beer. I always thought it tasted good. I don't see anything wrong with it. I always realized that it was a budget price beer. But then coming from Anheuser-Busch, and later since 2008 Anheuser-Busch InBev, always found that the quality standards were very high. It's always tasted the same since I've started buying it. It's always the same no matter where I buy it. I mean, it's a good everyday drinker. Have it with dinner, have it alone. I mean, it's really got that corn undertaste. I mean, I don't get it. I've even had some people say, moron, you're a moron for drinking it. I don't really like those kind of comments, because you're not, and they say I'm a moron because I pour straight down in the glass. That is ridiculous, because Michelob Brewing Company, and a subsidiary of Anheuser-Busch, and Schlitz, I have source information from those two saying that you should pour those lager beers straight down the glass. So I seriously doubt the people that ran Schlitz, started Schlitz, and Michelob were morons. But you know, you got that type of mentality floating around. For a budget beer, this is the best of the best. I mean, it may be the best, an A+. I'm not picking up any metal, really. There's no metal. For beer overall, it's at least a B. It's good. I think the worst you could say about it is that it's good. It's not dull. People say it has no flavor. Saw one guy made a video ripping on major beers, and he was also ripping on people that drink major mass-produced beers, saying they have no flavor, they taste like water. Well, I drink lots of water, and I'm going to show you this does not taste like water. It has a beer flavor. It has bite to it. It has a good aftertaste, undertaste. It doesn't taste like water. It has taste. It has flavor. It's not dull. Obviously, you're not obligated or obliged to like it. If you say, I tasted it and I don't like it, I can understand it. But to say it has no taste would make me think maybe your taste buds are not working properly. So anyway, Le Bon Temps Roulé. This is a very good lager beer, ale in Texas, and they only call it ale in Texas to skirt their beer laws, which say you can't have anything over whatever percent, like 5%, and call it beer. So okay, they don't call it beer, they call it ale. Well, it's not an ale, it's a lager. It says here lager, but on the side ale. They put that simply for these onerous state regulations. So Le Bon Temps Roulé, once again, let the good times roll. This is a great beer. I love it. I buy it a lot, and they have it for $6.50 a 12-pack at Walmart. Why wouldn't I buy it? And I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to southeastern Louisiana. And here's some old bottles. You see the first Natural Light. This from '96. I thought it was a nice looking bottle. And then they went to this one around '98, which was better. I mean, which was different, but not better, because I thought it was too dark. And then they came out with this one, which is okay. But I really prefer the original. It's sort of a classic look. But anyway, you know, I have a tendency to enjoy buying bottles, keeping a lot of bottles, keeping a lot of cans. You know, I keep a lot of cans. Look at all that terrible beer. Any beer connoisseur will tell you that none of that stuff's worth drinking. And keep a lot of comments.